According to Sports and Fitness Association, over 26 million people play basketball in the United States. This means that 1 out of 6 people play basketball, whether it's at the professional level or below. Now imagine a world where none of these people could play basketball. Since basketball is one of the most popular sports in the United States, it will be important to know how the game developed throughout the years. Over the years, the game of basketball has grown and developed in popularity. I have been playing basketball since I was 5 years old, and I've read numerous books about basketball and its history. Today, I will first discuss how basketball was created. Second, I will discuss how basketball became a major sport in the United States and then worldwide. And finally, I will discuss the importance of basketball in today's culture. Basketball was originally created by James Naismith. Naismith was born in 1861 in Ramsey, near Ontario, Canada. According to George Lafayette, a manager at the Kansas Heritage Group, the idea of basketball came from Naismith's school days, when he would try and knock a rock down by tossing another rock at it. Naismith created the game of basketball because he needed to find a sport that could be played inside during the rough Massachusetts winter. He wanted to create a game where people would not have to rely only on strength. He wanted to create a game that could be played indoor in small spaces. The game was initially played with a soccer ball and peach baskets as goals. The game was also originally intended to condition athletes that could not practice outside during the cold months. Basketball was an instant success. According to HistoryBits.com, a website dedicated to exploring true history, the game of basketball became very popular quickly, both because the students found the game easy to play and the rules easy to understand. Also, the graduate students of YMCA eventually traveled across the country and introduced the game in cities all over. Interestingly enough, even though the game of basketball was gaining popularity, Naismith did not push to publicly promote the game. That was because he was more interested in his career as a physical educator. Now that I've discussed how the game of basketball was created, I will now discuss how basketball became a major sport in the United States and then worldwide. One area that basketball was very popular in the early 1900s was in college. According to the peoplehistory.com, a website dedicated to the history of the 1900s, college was initially much more organized and popular than the initial professional league. In the early 1900s, colleges began playing against each other and started forming their first league. To create a championship tournament for colleges, the NCAA was also created in 1939. On the other side, the first pro league was the NBL, which was created in 1937. Almost a decade later, in 1946, the BAA was created. The BAA was much more organized than the NBL, and even though the NBL had the more talent, its teams eventually moved to the BAA, forming the NBA. Basketball also gained international popularity early on, and that was because of Christian missions that helped spread the game of basketball in other countries all over the world. In 1932, FIBA, which is the international headquarters for basketball, was created. Basketball truly became an international sport when it was first introduced in the 1936 Olympic Games. Now that we have learned how basketball became a major sport in the United States and then worldwide, I will now discuss the importance of basketball in today's culture. Nowadays, almost every high school and college offers basketball as a sport, and millions of people play basketball every day. Also, the NBA and its players make considerably more money now than they did in the early 1900s. According to Tom Gerenser, a New England businessman writing for MoneyNation.com, in 2015-2016, the average NBA player made over $5 million. That is a huge improvement from the early 1900s, when the players would only make about $2 per game. This really shows how basketball has grown in popularity and how much money NBA players make because there's so many people watching the games every year. Basketball is one of the most popular sports in the United States. According to Sportiology, a sports blog containing top 10 lists, basketball is the third most popular sport in the United States, only behind football and baseball. Basketball is also the 10th most followed sport in the world, which is very impressive considering that there are hundreds of different sports around the world. On average, about 14,000 people attend each professional basketball game. Some spectators come from all over the world just to witness a professional basketball play. Today, I first discussed how basketball was created. Second, I discussed how the game of basketball became one of the major sports in the United States and then worldwide. And finally, I discussed the importance of basketball in today's culture. Over the years, the game of basketball has grown and developed in popularity. So the next time you go out and play basketball, think of how different the game used to be compared to how popular it is now.